to Media Melanie Talks TV. I'm Melanie, and I'm here for a live stream. I typically do pre-recorded videos, but it's a Friday. Thought I'd just kind of stop in for a casual TV chat about what I've been watching, shows on my radar for the year, and shows I'm going to be covering here on the channel. As always with live streams, things happen. I've got dogs, I've got kids on spring break, and it does sound like my neighbor just started their landscaping work. So please bear with me if anything strange happens, as is the nature of live videos. But overall, we are eating so good in TV land here in 2025. And so far this year, there have been a lot of fantastic watches. So I'm going to start with a few shows that I've recently watched, some highlights, starting with Adolescence on Netflix. This was a 4-episode miniseries, and wow, talk about dark subject content. It's about a 13-year-old in Britain who gets accused of murder. It dives a lot into the incel culture, social media, some of the harm that can have on our youth, and it is an exceptional show. It is very heavy and very dark. So, you know what? If you do watch it, it's one that is probably going to sit with you for a while. And I think it will probably end up as one of my top shows of the year. And if you've been following me here on the channel, you know I've been covering The White Lotus on HBO Max. The finale actually airs this Sunday, so I will have my video up on Monday. Overall, this season's been okay. I think it's been a little bit slow moving. I'm very curious to see exactly how Mike White ends this one. It is an hour-and-a-half finale, which I'm really excited for. So if you've been watching The White Lotus, be sure you check in on my coverage here at the channel. And while you're at it, go ahead and please give this video a like and make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss any of my TV talk coming this year. And like I said, lots of great shows. The number one watch for me so far has been The Pitt on Max. If you liked ER from back in the 90s, which I loved, this stars Noah Wyle, and it has a formula similar to 24, except in a medical ER hospital setting set in Pittsburgh. Each episode is 1 hour long, and it's 1 hour of the actual shift that they're working. It's amazing how these episodes fly by, the current day storylines and social commentary that they have. And there are 15 episodes total, which in today's TV landscape is definitely a rarity. And I'm kind of excited, or pretty sad it's actually going to be ending, because this has made me so excited. Just overall, it's the show I've looked forward to watching each week. Noah Wyle is just absolutely fantastic. But if you're watching it, you know Dr. King is my favorite character. I've been talking all about her since the season aired. And after this past episode, I want her for my real life doctor. She is absolutely incredible. The actor is actually Bryan Cranston's daughter, which I did not realize. But The Pitt is phenomenal. And it's interesting because it feels more like a network procedural than it does a streaming show. And I think that's what really sets it apart for Max and is going to make it easily one of the best shows of the year. I will be shocked if we do not see at least some Emmy nods for this incredible cast. And it's coming back for a second season, which is fantastic news, slated to return in January of 2026. Which is going to crawl by because, as I mentioned, the 15th episode finale is coming up this Thursday. And if you haven't watched this one yet, you know what? Even if you're not necessarily into medical dramas, I cannot recommend it enough. It's graphic, as I mentioned, the social commentary, current day storylines. This past episode actually touched upon measles, which is a very hot topic in today's political landscape as well. So seriously, like if you're going to be watching one show and you have Max, cannot recommend The Pitt enough. Just a fantastic show, top to bottom. I can't say enough good things. And the only negative I have is one of the characters I don't love, Dr. Santos. If you're watching, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. She is not my favorite, but I will say the actress does a great job playing an unlikable character. In last night's episode, she called Whitaker Huckleberry a number of times, and it just grates on me, these nicknames she has for the other doctors. I don't think she's well liked amongst her coworkers and colleagues either. So I'm curious to see where her character arc goes. But also, Sean Hattasey, who you may know from Animal Kingdom, plays Dr. Abbott on that show. We saw him at the beginning of the season, didn't get a lot of him in the middle episodes, but then he came back with a mass casualty event, which is happening at this Pittsburgh hospital. I mean, the subject matter, again, is just so dark, but it's so well done. I have cried multiple times at this show. Just the best show on television right now, in my opinion. The Studio on Apple TV Plus is another one that I'm watching. This is starring Seth Rogen, and it does have quite the parade of celebrities. I mean, in the first episode, we get many famous people, including Bryan Cranston. There's a storyline about this movie studio, Continental, acquiring the rights for Kool-Aid and going into kind of a Barbie type of format. And oh, hey, Vicky, nice to see you joining. Thank you so much. But the studio, it's great. Catherine Hahn plays a marketing executive, and I am so here for her character. It's funny. It's got this score that feels very frantic, and the first episode's like 45 minutes. The other ones are closer to a half hour, and I just love it. I'm laughing out loud. I think it gives a nice glimpse into Hollywood and very satirical. It's great because Seth Rogen looks like kind of a bumbling fool, and I really appreciate that about this show. Now, excuse me. Now, speaking of Apple TV, Your Friends and Neighbors is actually one that is going to be coming out next week on April 11th. And I recorded a video earlier today with a preview for that show. So after this live, it'll be uploaded later this afternoon. So definitely do not miss that. It stars John Hamm, Amanda Peet. It is a dramatic comedy about a hedge fund manager who gets fired and basically starts robbing his friends and neighbors and gets caught into this tangled web. I'm going to be covering that one on my channel, so do make sure you are subscribed. And if you liked Mad Men and Don Draper, then you will probably love Your Friends and Neighbors. Super excited for that one. I recently started Mobland on Paramount Plus. It's a Guy Ritchie show. I'm not completely sold yet. I watched the first episode, and I'm curious for anybody who's watched it so far. What do you think? Is it worth it? I'm not convinced that I'm actually going to be finishing that one or not, but we will see. And if you've been following me here at the channel, you know I recently covered School Spirits on Paramount Plus Season 2. We got renewal news for Season 3, which I could not be more excited about. I did drop a video on everything we know about School Spirit Season 3, including the suspected starting filming date, which appears to be in September. So they said we'll get it back on our screens in 2026, and it's another one that cannot come back soon enough. Just a wonderful supernatural teen drama type of show. Great mystery. Season 2 definitely leaned more into the darkness. And this one stars Peyton List, who you may know from Cobra Kai. Also Milo Manheim, who is my favorite character. He plays Wally Clark, and it's about a group of students who are trapped in the afterlife at their high school. So if you haven't watched it yet, it's an easy, entertaining watch. It is on Paramount Plus, and actually Season 1 is on Netflix if you want to give it a try there and you don't happen to have Paramount Plus. So highly recommend School Spirits. You can also catch up on my reactions, reviews, and theories here on the channel. Okay. I also recently binged The Summer I Turned Pretty Seasons 1 and 2. This one is on Amazon Prime, and it is based on a series of books. The third season is coming this summer, sometime in July, and it's really cute. I mean, it gives the summer vacation vibes. It watches like a beach summer read, and it is fantastic. If you are watching it, I would love to know. Drop in the comments. Are you Team Jeremiah? Or are you Team Conrad? It's really a toss-up for me. Our main character, Belly, kind of goes between these two brothers who she's known forever. They spent their summers together. It's a really cute watch, and I think it's going to translate well for our summer watch list. So if you haven't watched The Summer I Turned Pretty yet, give that one a go. I do hope to cover that one on my channel, so if that sounds like it's up your TV alley, definitely stay tuned. And again, make sure you are subscribed. Yes, Vicky, you will definitely have to check it out. If you like school spirits, then, it's not as supernatural and dark, but it feels fun. It's very summer. Okay, I also recently binged Interview with the Vampire on AMC Plus. Now, I'm not even a huge vampire person. I've never read the Anne Rice novels that this is based on, but fantastic 2 seasons. I enjoyed the movie very much. Of course, that was, I believe, in the 90s with Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Kirsten Dunst. This show just had me from the very start. And we are getting a third season of that as well, hopefully sometime in 2025. And I've got to say, this one kind of made me usher in a little bit of a vampire era, even though it's not my main thing. Oh, hey, Matt and Jess TV. I see Jess in the comments talking about Interview with the Vampire. It is indeed so good and such an incredible show. And it's funny because Jess had mentioned to me about the finale from season 2 being such a wonderful episode of television. Indeed, it was. It lived up to all the expectations. And what we can expect in season 3 is more of Lestat, the vampire, and touring in a rock and roll band. So, I'm not going to give any spoilers as to what happened in season 2. You've got to watch it for yourself. But if you're looking for something dark with only 2 seasons, this one is definitely worth the watch. And yes, I do plan on covering it on my channel. Jess, I am so happy to be covering that too. And you know what, you guys, if you haven't subscribed to Matt and Jess TV's channel, they also offer some really incredible TV commentary. Friends of my channel, and cannot recommend their content enough. And thanks, Jess, for tuning in and being here in the comments. Always appreciate you. Thank you. And speaking of vampires, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is coming back with a reboot. And shockingly, I know, I never watched the original Buffy, even though I am so into the 90s of it all. In fact, I used to be on the Beverly Hills 90210 show podcast and recently dropped a video featuring some of the locations that I had a chance to visit with executive producers and writers on the show, Charles Rosen and Larry Mullen and Pete Ferrero from the podcast. So check that out. And what's interesting about that and made me talk about it is the fact that both Beverly Hills 90210 and Buffy the Vampire Slayer were filmed at Torrance High School, which I've visited a number of times. So it's called Sunnyvale High School, of course, in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, West Beverly High School, and Beverly Hills 90210. So I have started my Buffy the Vampire Slayer watch. I'm confused if I should be liking Xander or not. I think the show's great. Of course, it stars Sarah Michelle Gellar, who, by the way, we recently saw in Dexter Original Sin, which I also covered here on the channel, and just recently got renewed for a second season. I expected a little more from Sarah Michelle Gellar's character in that show, and if you haven't watched Original Sin yet, highly recommend it. Definitely check out my coverage as well, and I will be covering Dexter Resurrection, which will be coming this summer, so really excited for that. But back to Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I'm not going to say the show has aged exceptionally well. It definitely has that kind of old school feel and vibe, but I'm going to stick with it because I am intrigued about the reboot and how that's handled. It's such a popular show from that era. And Vicky's saying, I watched the original, but not the movie until a few years later. Yes, and Jess is saying, it's funny, Vicky, but I did the opposite. I saw the movie and loved it, but haven't seen the show. So anyway, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I loved that movie as well. Actually, I remember back in the 90s, I won tickets to a screening of it and got to go and see that. I had this Buffy the Vampire Slayer swag from that, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, I loved the movie too and never watched the show. So here I am checking it out. If you liked the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer show, I would love to know. I mean, what did you think about it overall? Am I going to love it as much as everybody says? A little bit of a slow start for me, but I do love the cast, love Sarah Michelle Gellar, and again, I'm curious to know exactly how her character in Dexter Original Sin will play into the second season of that show. Okay. Another one I recently watched. Now, I was a little bit late to the game on this one. The Way Home is on Peacock. It is a Hallmark show. It's about time travel, and it's definitely giving like the Hallmark time travel vibes. A lot less sci-fi, a lot more family drama. It centers around a family who has a very special magical pond on their property. And yes, they time travel. They can go back in time. So we get historical elements. It's almost like a kind of Outlander light, I guess, if you will. And I just loved it. And if you liked School Spirits, it also stars Spencer McPherson, who played Xavier in School Spirits. There are currently 3 seasons of The Way Home, and it is coming back for a fourth, which will be back on our screens in 2026 as well. And if you haven't watched it yet, I mean, you have got to put this one on your radar, especially all my School Spirits fans out there. This one is so good. I've got so many theories on it, and I'm very excited to cover that one when it does come back next year. So, definitely catch that one. Like I said, it's on Peacock. It's also on Hallmark. It stars Andy McDowell. I love how we get generational family themes, and I mean, I love time travel. Dark on Netflix is one of my favorite shows of all time. And this one just feels lighter, not quite as dark and sci fi, definitely more wholesome, especially given that it is a Hallmark show. But the theories and the mystery, season 3 did end on a pretty big cliffhanger. So definitely add that one to your watch list. Pardon me. Okay, so another show that I never watched from the 90s that I kind of recently started. I talk about TV a lot at my work. I'm a stage manager for the Padres, and one of our announcers, we were talking about David Lynch the other day, and he's watching Twin Peaks for the first time. And I thought, you know what? I can't believe I've actually never watched that show. Especially because School Spirits had a recent tie in with Fire Walk with Me, and someone pointed out in one of my comments that was a Twin Peaks reference. And I'm on episode 2 of Twin Peaks so far, the original. I haven't watched the reboot yet, but fantastic. I mean, what a creepy, mysterious show. All-star stellar cast, and with the passing of David Finch recently, it's time that I finally got this one watched. And so far, this one is definitely living up to my expectations, and might I add, I think I might like it a little bit more than Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Totally 2 different shows, but if you've watched Twin Peaks, I mean, am I in for a treat? Everybody I've talked to is so into that show, and just really excited to be finally watching it. And as I mentioned, I'm stage managing for Padres baseball, so it is tough fitting in all of these shows, but I kind of keep like a background watch list, if you will, for filler shows or maybe something to watch to unwind at night when I get home from work. And Twin Peaks is checking that box for me right now, and I'm very excited about it. Also on my list of things to watch, I actually have not started The Righteous Gemstones season 4, the final season. That one is on Max. But if you love Walton Goggins, of course, from Fallout and from The White Lotus, which is airing now, you don't want to miss him as Uncle Baby Billy. I mean, this show is hilarious. I just haven't had time to squeeze it into my watch schedule, but actually I mentioned Matt and Just TV. They are covering the Righteous Gemstones, I think, so you can definitely check that out as well on their channel. But really funny show. I absolutely love it. Jess, are you covering that? Yes, I think you might be. And I am hoping to really enjoy it once I finally have time to watch. I mean, there are so many good shows out there right now that I just kind of can't keep up. And with so many coming out this year, just so much to look forward to. So very excited. Oh, yes, Matt and Jess are covering that one on Spotify, you guys. So definitely go listen to that if you're looking for some coverage. Really funny show. And it's the final season, and it is the 4th. So it's not super hard to catch up if you haven't watched it already. I did start Dope Thief on Apple TV Plus. I think I'm on the 2nd episode. Pretty entertaining so far. Decent. I'll probably end up finishing it. I also started The Residence on Netflix, which is kind of a satirical Clue type of movie. I'm about halfway through it, haven't finished yet. And I've just got to say, right? Like, can Netflix start doing weekly drops? What do you guys think? Drop in the comments. Do you prefer weekly drops or the binge format? Some shows I do think work better as a binge, and I did cover Severance week to week, but I do think that for some people who haven't watched the second season, it may resonate more as a binge than the week to week. So, what are your thoughts on that? I do wish Netflix would do more of these weekly drops because it is so hard, and like the pressure to binge an entire season of a show. Oh my goodness. Jess is asking if I'm planning to do a series finale video of Gemstones. You know what? We will see. And Mixed Bag, my friend Kim is here in the comments, and she says too, 100% prefer weekly. It just makes more sense. It builds tension. And while some shows are maybe better as a binge, I mean, come on. Like, can we all just agree that weekly is better, especially when we have so many shows on our menu? I think so. Okay, shows coming up in April, and one that I'm going to be covering on the channel starting next week. The Handmaid's Tale is coming up with its final and sixth season. This one is on Hulu based on Margaret Atwood's books. And after this, actually, The Testaments, which is the follow up, will be another series coming out. Elizabeth Moss will be executive producing it. But season 6 drops Tuesday, April 8th with the first 3 episodes, and there are 10 in total, ending on May 27th. So, given the political climate of life and things right now, The Handmaid's Tale can be pretty difficult to watch given the subject matter of this fictional country, Gilead, having been essentially taken over by these very far right, conservative um, politicians and lifestyles. And there are some pretty horrific things that happen. It is really hard to watch and sometimes feels like this could actually come to fruition in real life, which is highly disturbing. So, again, very sensitive subject matter, but if you've been watching it, it has been a while since season 5 was on the air, so you may need to go back and watch the season 5 finale. I actually did that last week so I could prepare myself for covering season 6, but Elizabeth Moss is just so genius as June Osborne. Absolutely love her. And as I mentioned in the Your Friends and Neighbors preview video that I'm going to post later today, it's great because we're getting both John Hamm content and Elizabeth Moss content in the same month. And of course, he played Don Draper. She played Peggy on Mad Men, one of my top favorite shows, literally of all time. So I love that we're getting both of those actors on our screens. And really, one of my dreams is to get them back in a show together someday. They're both very busy, so I don't know the likelihood of that, but who knows? Oh no. Okay. My audio looks like it was out. Oh, thank you guys for letting me know that. Okay, that was weird. It must be my internet provider, not the best at times. What was the last thing that you guys heard? Let's see. Thank you guys for letting me know in the comments. Okay, my audio is back. Really appreciate you guys letting me know. Like I said at the top of the show, sometimes with live streams, these things happen. So, does anyone know the last thing they heard? Let's see. I was talking about The Last of Us season 2. Did you guys hear any of that? Let's see if anybody comments here, and really appreciate your patience with that. I guess I will go back to The Last of Us. Like I said, that is dropping on Max April 13th. There are 7 episodes total with a 5-year time jump. Okay, good. Kim said the last she heard was Handmaid's Tale. Okay, perfect. So, yes, I will go back to The Last of Us season 2. Okay. Pedro Pascal, Bella Ramsey. This show is post-apocalyptic, very similar to Fallout. Oh, okay. You guys are saying John and Elizabeth back together. Yes, it is my dream to get John Hamm and Elizabeth Moss back together on our screens, although they are both very busy actors. So, I mean, we'll see if that dream ever comes to fruition. But, like I was saying about these post-apocalyptic shows, I mentioned Fallout before with Walton Goggins, who is in The Righteous Gemstones, playing 7 degrees of TV separation here. But he was great in Fallout, and The Last of Us is another post-apocalyptic show that I love. And I mentioned when my audio was out that there was a standalone episode in season 1 that was probably one of my favorite episodes of television in the last couple years, aside from actually The Pit, like 3 episodes of season 1, which were absolutely just phenomenal. And I can't wait for The Last of Us to come back on our screens. Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey just play such a great duo, navigating this post-apocalyptic landscape when the cordyceps virus had essentially swept over humanity, and they're going through all of these dangers and kind of like zombie type of situations there. But really great show. Love The Last of Us. Excited for that to come back on Max. Okay, the final season of You is coming to Netflix on April 24th. It's season 5, and there are going to be 10 episodes. I was almost out on season 4 of You. It actually took me a couple of tries to get through it, but I'm really glad that I did. I tend to be quite the completionist with TV shows, and I have a hard time when I watch a few seasons of a show and then just drop it off. I mean, it's got to be pretty bad, so I am glad that I went back and watched it. This one is another dark drama. Joe Goldberg is the lead character. He is a killer and goes to take on different identities and goes through some different situations throughout the seasons. But again, this one is a Netflix show, so it drops as a binge. And I'm not sure yet if I'm going to cover it because it'll depend on my work schedule and whatnot. And I mean, again, like watching 10 episodes of a show all at once, I feel the pressure for it, but who has the time to do that, right? So we'll see if I cover that one or not. But I'm curious for all of the You fans out there. Did you like season 4? Are you excited for season 5? Definitely drop a comment and let me know. You know what? Kim's in the comments saying that she never finished season 4. And Vicky, it was hard to me to get into season 4 of You. I will have to finish it. You know what? It really validates me when I feel like people feel the same way about things. So it wasn't just me. Season 4 was definitely not my favorite of the show. And like Kim Mixed Bag is saying in the comments, by the way, go follow her channel as well. She is fantastic. She loves seasons 1 through 3 and might give it another try. Yeah, season 4 wasn't my favorite, but I do think you definitely need to watch it if you do plan on watching the final season. So definitely give that one a try. April 10th, Black Mirror is coming to Netflix. That's another one. I'm probably not going to cover it, but it's a show I've watched in the past. Really solid, very dark subject matter. And I know there's a lot of Black Mirror fans out there. So are you planning on watching it? I mean, there's a lot of great TV coming in April. I mean, I just mentioned Handmaid's Tale, Your Friends and Neighbors, The Last of Us, You. So many great shows. Another one that's coming up this spring, another one that I did not love the first season, but it had a good cast. Nine Perfect Strangers on Hulu. Season 2 is coming back this spring. It stars Nicole Kidman. And you know what? I'm a little burnt out on Nicole Kidman. I'm not sure exactly what it is about her. I watched that Netflix show, The Perfect Couple, and I loved Liev Schreiber in that show, but something about Nicole, I don't know, she is the lead character. However, they have cast some really great characters for the second season, and it is kind of an anthology. It's about a woman who hosts these retreats for people, and they go through some strange experiences together. But Annie Murphy from Schitt's Creek is going to be in that season, so I may watch it just for her. Also, Christine Baranski, Murray Bartlett from The White Lotus, really great cast. I think what I might do for that one is give the first couple of episodes a look and then determine if I'm going to watch it. I kind of swore it off after the first season. I enjoyed the concept, but again, am I the only one who just doesn't always love Nicole Kidman? I mean, I don't know. Don't come at me. Maybe, I don't know. Jess is saying she loved Nine Perfect Strangers and agree about too much Kidman. I mean, there's a lot of Nicole Kidman out there, right? Actually, she's in that new movie. I don't know the name. I didn't put it in my notes. Whatever it is, though, I believe it has like a 23% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And I feel like that maybe could track for Nicole Kidman, but I don't know. We'll see. May or may not cover it. Stay tuned. May TV. Criminal Minds season 19 is coming to Paramount Plus on May 8th. I don't think I'm going to cover that one, but I don't know. The last season of that show for me had so much of this gold star ongoing theme. I kind of prefer Criminal Minds Evolution as more of a procedural, and it does seem like it's become a little more serialized since it has become Criminal Minds Evolution. But I do love the characters. I mean, I love Paget Brewster. She's fantastic. I love her Twitter persona, X persona, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I'll be watching it, but probably not covering it. Maybe I'll do a quick short or reaction and review or something. Let's see. Oh, the new Nicole Kidman movie is Holland on Amazon Prime. Vicky, thank you for mentioning that. If anyone's watched it, drop in the comments. Is it good? Is it bad? Just based on the Rotten Tomatoes rating, I don't think I'm going to add it to my watch list anyway, given how I feel about Nicole Kidman. But this next show, you guys, I am beyond excited about. Poker Face on Peacock. Season 1 was phenomenal. It stars Natasha Lyonne, who is in Russian Doll, Orange is the New Black, and actually season 2 is going to feature some of her Orange is the New Black former castmates. And it is a procedural. It goes through kind of a case of the week situation, but it does have an ongoing thread. But one of the biggest strengths of this show are the guest stars. I mean, Natasha Lyonne must open up her Rolodex or her phone contact list and is able to secure some really big names. Season 1, so many great cast members. The second season is coming on May 8th. Again, it's on Peacock. It's going to drop the first 3 episodes. There are 12 in total. Can I just say how much I appreciate when shows do 12 episodes, or as I mentioned with The Pit, 15 episodes, getting away from that 8 to 10 episode formula, and especially if they can validate having that many episodes and it's not dragging or too long. Looking at you, The White Lotus, I feel like White Lotus season 3 probably could have been 6 episodes instead of 8. Maybe that would have made it kind of go by a little bit better, but Mike White is an artist and, he likes the cinematography of it all and the storytelling. So 12 episodes of Poker Face, though, I am so in all day long. This is a Thursday show. Let me go through some of the guest stars, and these are only some of the guest stars for season 2, not even the full list. You can find that on the Peacock website, but Melanie Linsky from Yellow Jackets, her husband, Jason Ritter, Cynthia Erivo, who is from The Outsider on HBO, which actually I recently binged. There's one season of that. Jason Bateman's in it. It's a Stephen King show. I actually can't believe I did not watch that one sooner. It's a little bit older, but she stars as a detective in that show. And of course, Cynthia Erivo is in Wicked, starring alongside Ariana Grande. So I think she'll also be a big draw. We've got Method Man, John Mulaney, who's kind of an it guy right now, Giancarlo Esposito, Katie Holmes, Gabby Hoffman, BJ Novak, Haley Joe Osment, Justin Theroux, who, oh, let's face it, I love him. And if you've never watched The Leftovers, you are missing out. That is a fantastic HBO show, and I cannot wait to see some Justin Theroux content here. It's going to be fantastic. And let's see who else. Taylor Schilling from Orange is the New Black. So if you haven't watched Poker Face Season 1 yet on Peacock, I cannot recommend that enough. Natasha Lyonne has come up with a really fun concept where she can tell if people are lying. And she kind of goes on this adventure where she solves these murders every week. And it's really funny. It's highly comedic. It's not one of these dark, moody, mystery murder type of shows. It's a little more uplifting and hilarious. The comedy is so there. This is one I can't wait, and I am 100% covering on my channel. So again, make sure you're subscribed so that way you do not miss my weekly coverage for Poker Face. This one is a maybe on my coverage list, Murderbot. It's another Apple TV Plus show. It drops May 16th, and it's a sci-fi thriller comedy. It's based on the Murderbot Diaries, and it is starring and executive produced by Alexander Skarsgård, who's from Earth Abides, Vikings, Succession, Big Little Lies. If you did watch Earth Abides, you may have noticed I dropped a reaction and review to the first season. For me, that show was kind of a Hallmark meets Nat Geo post-apocalyptic show. It was an interesting blend, emotional storytelling from that show. So I may or may not cover that one. I may kind of give it a look and see, exactly how that goes. And, Kim is in here saying Earth Abides was so great. And you know what it was? It was definitely an interesting approach to the post-apocalyptic content where you're not getting zombies. It's more the interpersonal relationships, and it's interesting to see it from that perspective. So if you haven't watched Earth Abides, that one is on MGM Plus. And if you have not had MGM Plus before and you haven't watched From, by the way, phenomenal show starring Harold Perrineau, very dark and mysterious. The theories behind it all, I'm not going to say too much about it, but it's essentially about groups of people who get stuck in this town where there's some very scary monsters that come out at night. 10 out of 10. I love From. And yeah, we got some reveals in the second season that were kind of wild, and some of them expected, some of them unexpected. But if you're into the dark shows, then definitely give From a try. MGM Plus, I haven't actually watched the 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue yet either. That one's kind of been on my watch list for when I do pick up MGM Plus again. So we'll see if I end up watching that one. But it does star Eric McCormack from Will and Grace. And if you are looking for coverage on that show, I know Matt and Jess TV have covered that one as well. And Jess is saying too that Matt is so excited about Murderbot. I'm excited to see what that one's about too, right? Like a sci-fi comedy thriller. I will say that Sunny on Apple TV Plus was a recent kind of robot-based sci-fi show, and that was actually canceled. So one of the very few series that were actually canceled by Apple TV Plus recently. So we'll see exactly how Murderbot Diaries goes. All right, another one kind of on my potential coverage radar for May, The Better Sister. That one drops May 29th on Prime, and it's a thriller with Jessica Biel, Elizabeth Banks, and the logline for that one reads, it is a book adaptation. Chloe moves through the world with her handsome lawyer husband Adam and teenage son Ethan by her side, while her estranged sister Nikki hustles to make ends meet while trying to stay clean. When Adam is brutally murdered, the prime suspect sends shockwaves through the family, laying bare long-buried secrets. If you know me, you know I'm into the mystery and murder of it all, especially based on a lot of these shows that I'm mentioning right now. So I will definitely plan to give that one a look. And, Jessica Biel, I believe, had starred in season 1 and then executive produced The Sinner. that was a show I watched the first couple of seasons of and then kind of did drop that one off. Interested to see exactly how this show plays out. All right, moving on to June. Squid Game is coming back for the final season. I will say season 2 wasn't as strong as season 1, but how could it ever have lived up to that expectation? I did drop a reaction and review video. Again, this is another Netflix series, and the concept was quite novel for season 1. It was very interesting, and I think now that we kind of know what it was about, season 2 just didn't quite do it for me. Yes, it was still interesting. It was still entertaining. It kind of ended a little bit abruptly. So I'm definitely going to watch the end of it because this is one where, it's only 3 seasons. So not a huge arduous lift. But again, with it being on Netflix, not sure if I will drop a video or not, depending on, kind of what my schedule looks like. And again, just going to reiterate, Netflix, can you do some weekly drops ever, or are you always going to stick with the binge model? Obviously, it seems to work for them. Otherwise, they would probably play around with it a bit. And there are some shows they've dropped, part 1, and then they'll do a part 2 later on. But I want weekly Netflix shows, and I know I am not the only one out there. The Bear, season 4, coming back to Hulu. And I don't know, season 3 was pretty good. I mean, I love Jeremy Allen White, so that one will definitely be on my radar. I did cover the last season. I had a couple of videos for it, part 1 and part 2. Check that out if you are looking for some commentary on it and curious to know who else is excited for the next season of The Bear. Will you be watching it? I'll have to wait and see exactly how that one stacks up against the other seasons. All right. As I mentioned, The Summer I Turned Pretty season 3 finale is coming in July on Prime Video. We don't yet have a premiere date, but I will definitely do some sort of recap or review or what we can expect in the final season. As I asked before, are you team Conrad? Are you team Jeremiah? I would love to know. I'm not going to say who I am because it may be a little controversial, but I will get more into that as we get closer to the premiere in July. Renee Rocha is in the comments saying Squid Game season 2 was solid, but they needed to have more movement and the show before it ended so abruptly. I think that abrupt ending for me was definitely one of the least favorite things for me. It just kind of ended and I was like, what? And I'm not going to give too much away about it. And again, we'll be watching the 3rd season, but I just think that some of these unique shows will never live up to their first season because it was just so good and so unique at the time. And once we know exactly what it is about, then, some of that luster is lost and not quite as shiny and new, but still really interesting and one of Netflix's top performing shows ever, I believe. All right. The rest of the year. So, as I mentioned, School Spirits is not coming back in 2025, but it does seem like they're going to start filming potentially in September. And the last couple of seasons have taken about 3 months to film. So, I'm hoping we get it at the end of 2026. And if you missed any of my content theory videos, I did also recently drop one on what we can expect for season 3. And I did a live stream. It was actually the first live stream I did here on my channel. And I had the opportunity to interview Ashlyn Goodman, who played Alice, Mr. Martin's fiance. So that was really fun. And if you missed that, definitely go and catch up on it. And you know what? Mixed bag. Cam, you're in there saying so many second seasons suffer that sophomore slump. Many shows I can think of have had that same issue. So, we'll see how that goes. And speaking of second seasons, as I mentioned before, I covered Dexter Original Sin here on the channel. It did get renewed for season 2. Will that show suffer the sophomore slump? I was pretty hesitant going into the show thinking, you know what? It's hard to picture anybody else playing this character of Dexter. Patrick Gibson lived up to the role. For me, I think the biggest disconnect was the fact that this one did pick up after Dexter New Blood, and it was a flashback as to Dexter, kind of on his deathbed and reliving his start as a serial killer. But Michael C. Hall was still the narrator of it, so I don't know, it was strange for me watching Patrick Gibson play the role on the screen and hearing Michael C. Hall. There was a little of a disconnect for me, but I think they did really well giving us the origin story and some background. And some of it was a little repetitive. Of course, we got quite a few seasons of the original Dexter, but it did work. They had a phenomenal cast. Christian Slater, as I previously mentioned, Sarah Michelle Gellar. And yeah, I mean, Patrick Gibson just did great. One of my bigger criticisms was Molly Brown, who played Deb. She was Deb to a T. Her mannerisms, her demeanor, the way she spoke, the lines they gave her. I have higher hopes that she'll have more story in season two. The character arc just kind of fell a little flat for me, but she was a great vehicle for nostalgia, kind of reminding us that we were set in the 90s and she was in high school during that time. I was too. So I really related to that. And again, Molly Brown looked like Deb, played Deb well. And I think part of it is Deb wasn't my favorite character in the original Dexter, but props to Molly Brown for bringing her to life. And hopefully her character will have a little bit more going on in that sophomore season. And oh my gosh, Renee Roaches in the comments, School Spirits had a sophomore soar. Absolutely, it did. The second season was fantastic. I loved the first season. And for me, season two lived up to, if not exceeded, season one. And I could not agree with you more, Renee, and really excited to see exactly what season three holds. I had been messaging with Josh Zuckerman, who plays Mr. Martin, and I do expect to interview him at some point before the season starts again. Really excited for that. And I mean, School Spirits is like one of my favorite shows right now. And if you hadn't guessed, you see a lot of that content on my channel for a good reason. Fantastic. And as I mentioned, Dexter Resurrection is coming this summer to Paramount Plus with Showtime. We don't have the premiere date yet, but there have been a ton of casting announcements. Neil Patrick Harris is one of them. A whole slew of actors coming. I'm hoping that they can really leverage these big names, unlike what they did with Sarah Michelle Gellar, who was fine, it was good, but you would just expect these bigger actors, I guess, to do more or play a bigger role. So I am hopeful that Sarah Michelle Gellar's character will be more prominent in season two. And curious to see how Resurrection goes. They've already started filming it. I mean, it's coming this summer, so excited to see what happens with that. Michael C. Hall, of course, is coming back as Dexter. I mean, I knew they were doing Resurrection, but I was surprised, just given how New Blood ended, that this is coming back. And if you liked the Trinity Killer storyline, that has also been green lighted and will star John Lithgow as well. Mixed bag is iffy on Resurrection. Kim, I will say I was iffy on Original Sin and it was able to capture me. So I sincerely hope that Resurrection will do the same. New Blood was probably my least favorite season of all the Dexters, and we'll be curious to see how Resurrection does rank within this Dexter verse and the franchise, which is obviously highly successful for Paramount Plus and Showtime, and seems like they're going to squeeze all the blood out of the Dexterverse that they possibly can. All right, other shows for the rest of the year that are on my radar. Acapulco season 4 on Apple TV Plus. This one is a comedy. It is set in the 80s. It's just an easy watch. It is strong with the storytelling. It's got a great cast. It takes place at a resort in Mexico, Acapulco. It's just fun to watch. There's an 80s cover band who sings these songs in Spanish and in English. One of my favorite parts of the show. Just love it. There's a character, Hector, so endeared to him in the last season. Not a character I really ever expected to love as much as I do, but yeah, I really can't wait for Acapulco. And these ones don't yet have premiere dates, so they're kind of on my radar and, may or may not cover them depending on the timing. But Welcome to Derry is another dark, scary, kind of Stephen King prequel type of show that will be coming to Max. Excited to give that one a look. Wednesday season 2 on Netflix. Loved season 1. That was a great watch with my family. And I just cannot wait. Jenna Ortega was fantastic. And now she's kind of typecast, right? She was in the second Beetlejuice or the new Beetlejuice movie. And really looking forward to seeing what she brings to season two, because season one was just 10 out of 10 for me. And I'm hoping that the timing aligns so that way I can cover it on the channel. Stranger Things season 5, another one coming back to Netflix. And this is going to be the final season. What I'm most curious about for that is how they are addressing the aging of these teen characters. Of course, that is always an issue when there are longer gaps between shows, especially prominent here with these teenagers who started out so young in the show, the big gaps between seasons. So I imagine there will be some kind of a time jump. And Stranger Things is another good family watch. It can skew a little bit scary, but I did watch it with my kids and looking forward to that season. Let's see. The Diplomat is possibly going to be back for a third season on Netflix. That one stars Kerry Russell, got 2 seasons under its belt. I liked it more than I thought. Political dramas aren't normally my thing, but really enjoyed it. She plays this diplomat over in Great Britain. What I like about her character so much is that she's kind of frumpy. She doesn't care about her appearance. And being that I'm kind of a low maintenance person, I appreciated seeing a woman represented like that. And there was a really strong cliffhanger at the end of the second season. And whoa, really cannot wait to see where that one picks off. Yep, Renee Rocha is saying in there, Stranger Things, the college years, easy peasy. And Mixed Bag is saying, my 13-year-old is very excited for Stranger Things and Wednesday. Those ones are really both in the same vein and do kind of play off of each other well, given that they're both kind of dark, centered around teenagers. Very excited. Slow Horses. Maybe going to be back on our screens. That's a reliable spy thriller on Apple TV Plus starring Gary Oldman. I think the last season wasn't my favorite, but it was still very strong, highly entertaining, and we'll most definitely be watching the next season. And this is one that keeps churning out. They seem to be able to produce this so fast and are already filming the next season when the prior one aired. Really appreciate when they can pump out these shows and get them back on our screens quickly without a 3-year wait. Looking at you, Severance on Apple TV Plus. Another one, which was one of my favorite shows of last year, Nobody Wants This on Netflix, starring Kristen Bell and Adam Brody. It is a rom-com TV show, and I flew through this one. And I know I said, I definitely prefer weekly drops. This one worked well as a binge because it seamlessly went from one episode to the next. It is hilarious. Really, if you've actually not watched Nobody Wants This on Netflix, this is a highly recommended light watch. I do talk about a lot of darker TV shows, but I do infuse some comedy into the mix here and there. Shrinking is another comedy I loved last year, which will be coming back again. But what I'd really like to know is, what shows are you most excited about for 2025? I mean, these are just some of the shows that are coming out. I do keep a spreadsheet and try to keep it updated. Actually, one of my friends is really great at helping me with that. Thank you. And with so many shows on the radar, sometimes I feel like I really need to pick and choose exactly what I will be covering. So I would also like to hear from you. What shows would you like me to be talking about? Of course, these ones I mentioned are already on my radar. Of all of these, what would be your top 3 that you'd like to see some reaction, reviews, and theory videos of? And what are some other shows that I didn't mention that are coming back in 2025 that are on your radar? With so many and constant announcements of what's coming out, it is hard to keep up. People often ask me, how do you make all of this time to watch TV? Well, my kids both play sports, and when they are at sports practices, I will oftentimes take my laptop and watch some shows in the car, which gets me a few episodes a week. And then, too, when I get home from work late, it takes me time to unwind, so I'll usually try to catch a show after work. Occasionally, I will watch a show during the day, but since I do other work as well, not always easy to do. So it is hard fitting all of these shows in, but My passion is talking about television, and I just want to express my gratitude for everybody who has subscribed to the channel, tuned into my videos, everybody here live in the comments today, especially, Kim, Jess, Renee, Vicky, really appreciate you guys. And Kim is saying, Handmaid's Tale, The Last of Us, Squid Games, Nobody Wants This are what she is most looking forward to. It's actually hard for me to even narrow down my top 3 of shows that I'm going to be talking about because there are so many strong ones. But if I had to pinpoint one that I think I'm secretly looking forward to the most, it might be Poker Face. I just completely adored season 1. Natasha Lyonne is just top notch, and I am very excited to see exactly how that one turns out for season 2 with 12 episodes. Renee said, I don't watch a ton of shows. I'm more of a sports and YouTube watcher, but Stranger Things and Squid Games. And you know what? I hear you with the sports. Being that I work in baseball, I also watch a fair amount of baseball on my TV, but also live at Petco Park. I work most of the Padres home games. Go Padres. Just want to shout out the Padres are actually 7-0. Stupid Dodgers are 8-0, so we're the 2 undefeated teams right now, I believe. I haven't checked the stats for today, but can't the Dodgers just let us have one thing? I didn't have really high expectations for the Padres this year, but I am really hoping that we make it far. Go Padres. And like I said, if you're looking for something to watch right now, just backing it up to the top of the video, Adolescence on Netflix and The Pitt on Max are probably my top 2 shows of the year so far. I can't say enough how much Noah Wiley has just crushed it as Dr. Robbie in The Pitt. Yes, it is a medical drama. It is graphic, but you get to know these characters in these chunks of 1-hour shifts that just fly by. And the formula of it all, it is like 24, but in a hospital setting, right? So we get these 15 episodes, which represents the 15 hours. And what I'm most excited about is it's coming back in January. And yeah, that's a few months, but anything in under a year for a show to return is, as far as I'm concerned, solid. And The Pitt is my number 1 pick of the year so far. So if you haven't watched it, I can't express enough how much I love it, especially if you liked ER back in the 90s. I mean, you have got to check that one out. Kim, Adolescence was great. The scenes were so intense, being done in the one take, and that was one of the most compelling things about it. They did all of these episodes in one take. There are no cuts, and it makes you feel like you are living the story along with these characters. You are in their heads. You are seeing exactly what they want you to see. This one-shot format is quite genius and doesn't work for all shows, but for Adolescence, the formula, the visuals, the story, the darkness, it is one. If you have teenagers in your life, I can't encourage you enough to watch this one. So check that out. Vicky's saying, I love The Pitt too. And I mean, yeah, there's just so many great shows. So really appreciate all of you guys tuning in for this live. Sorry about that little audio issue. I'm glad I got it resolved. Hopefully didn't miss anything there, but so many shows coming up. Again, don't miss my preview for Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple TV Plus. I will be dropping that later today, just kind of giving a recap of what it's about. And I love John Hamm, so whew, I am here for all of the ham. So next week's going to be great. I'm going to be covering Your Friends and Neighbors and The Handmaid's Tale, also the White Lotus finale. Make sure you are subscribed, and please go ahead and like this video. I appreciate all of your support and everybody who's tuned in. This is such a passion of mine, talking about television. I have always loved television as a medium, and to anybody out there who likes to say, oh, TV rots your brain, etc., etc., for me, people who can conceptualize these types of stories, bring them alive, put them on our screens, and maintain it from week to week in a compelling nature, for me, it's one of the strongest storytelling mediums in our culture today. And I love television. I'm here to talk about it. My channel is named Media Melanie Talks TV for a reason. So here for all of the TV this year and moving forward. So thank you again. I will talk to you all very soon. And again, thanks to everybody in the comments as well. Really appreciate it. Everybody have a good weekend. It's Friday. If you're watching some shows, drop a comment, tell me what you'll be watching, and make sure you tune into my videos next week and in the coming months. Media Melanie, clicking off.